Welcome back. This is still the BDTV Breakfast Show. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and I'm joined this morning to talk all about our top stories and break them down deeply. I'm joined by Mr. Daniel Obi, Senior Editor here at Business Day, and he is joining me here in the studio. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, Lizzie, thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. So
Thank you.
There's an interesting story here on our top stories. It's Naira gaining 0.9% against dollar on Trump's inauguration day. But I want us to start with the calls and data costing 50% more following the approval of tariff hikes by the Nigerian Communications Commission. What do you make of this new development?
Yeah, Lizzie, again, I want to thank you for the amazing job you guys are doing on the Business Day TV. Quite interesting and amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so
Again,
much.
I must start that the increase in cost tariff, TECO tariff, recently made was part of federal government reforms. Federal government has really backed on tax reforms in the recent time, to generate fund and to move forward. And this is for a long time, since 2013, TECOs have asked for tariff increase in order to bridge the operating cost and their business, which is they have asked for 100% tax increase in order to get more money to keep their business running. And they've got ahead to get 50% from federal government, less than 100% asked for. This has increased costs made by individuals and corporates, though it will increase SMS. It will increase costs generally by individuals making calls in Nigeria.
Yeah, and just the fact that there have been conversations about from the telcos, the minister himself saying that the prices have to go up because they also have like some bills to pay, and all of that. And we know that it's already as it is, it's tough on Nigerians. So the usual tariff that we had, the tariff we had before now, the prices was a little tough for Nigerians when we talk about data, because I understand that they will push the floor price of calls from 9.60 per minute to 9.60 per minute from 6 naira per minute, and make ceiling price of calls go to 50 naira, and the cost of SMS from 6 naira to 6 naira from 4 naira, and the cost of 1 gigabyte of data to 431.25 naira from 287. Especially the data part for me. As not just young people, everyone these days is making use of data. So I wish that there will be like something else to cushion these prices.
Lizzie, I really don't know what will cushion this, because that's exactly the cry of the masses. The tax reforms that are really going to squeeze the poor Nigerians further. That is where the challenge is. The Nigerians who are impoverished already due to the economic hardship have been impoverished more by the tax system government is introducing. But government says it does not have option than to do that. But again, if you look at the system, you see that TECO is one of the major pillars of the economy presently. TECO, industry, then agriculture, service industry. And TECO has to survive because communication is important in every economy. To drive economy, communication is important. So they have to do this in order not to squeeze the TECOs, dead.
Dry.
Yeah, dry. They need to get this done, because if TECOs die and communication die, the business equally die. So I think Nigerians need to maybe adjust to this. What they need to do possibly is to reduce costs, make costs when necessary. Don't stay on course as much as you were doing. And Lizzie, let me tell you, before GSM, or when the GSM came up immediately, 2001, 2020, 2021, 2001, we propounded that traffic was going to ease. People are going to make calls and traffic will ease.
Oh, really? So what does that mean? people are making calls doesn't mean they're not going out.
Yeah, that was the
places.
theory, but it didn't work. But now this thing's increasing, the tariff increasing. I hope that theory now will come to play. Where now
I don't
people
think so.
where people now will, but Nigerians are resilient. That's another
Yes, we always adjust.
Yeah,
and it's a problem.
Nigerians
really.
are resilient. Look at when fuel price moved from how much 200, then about to 1,000 to 400 to 1,000. For 1 week, the roads were free. After
People were
that,
turning
after
on
1 month,
generators.
the roads are equally heavy now. Traffic is there. So I think Nigerians are going to adjust. But let's see what happens.
I think Nigerians are always going to adjust. If there's one thing I know about Nigerians, is they complain, but they just keep it moving. It's not like Kenya. People are going to go out and protest on the streets. But Nigerians don't have that endurance for protesting. That's how I see it. Because if they go out for one day, everybody's like, better go about your business and go and make money. They would adjust.
Yeah, Lizzie, you are right there. Nigerians are really interested in their business. Protest is, I think, the least on their mind. They're really interested in business, see how they can feed their families. That's what uppermost in their mind, how to eat now. Again, one important thing in this take tariff is that, like you're talking about data, data has become a major issue in Nigeria for businesses, for healthcare, for education. Everybody running business on data. And we expect that by the time this tariff increase, it becomes operational more. Okay, we expect telcos to improve their services. When they improve their services, then you see more efficiency in the operation of businesses, including education, including healthcare, where data is more needed.
We hope so. We're going to complain for a bit, but we'll definitely adjust. But let's move on to another.
No, but that depends on, before you move on, that depends on government keeping tap on them. Because government has been able to do this for them and watch them. So government needs to watch them and say, listen, your operation, your service needs to improve in order to improve the economy, the business.
True. True, but for me, I would say that the telcos are actually trying in terms of if we're talking about connectivity. Maybe I'm talking from my own end, but I think connectivity is pretty good. So on their own part, the service providers, data speed and all of that, I think it's commendable. Or do you?
No, I think so. I think so. They're doing well. They're doing well. All we need to do is. Sometimes you see connectivity in some rural areas, very, very poor. Some travel for Christmas in rural areas, to get connectivity was very poor. So telcos need to find ways to get this across to more areas, not only urban areas.
Absolutely. That I completely agree with, because if we're commending the service that we're getting here in the urban areas, and the people in the rural areas have an opposite recommendation, then there's a problem. So they need to do better there. So the naira gained against the dollar on yesterday, which was quite interesting, because that was the day that President Donald Trump was inaugurated officially, following his victory in November 2024. Already at the start of the year, we had seen that the naira was stabilizing to an extent. I know that we had discussed on the show with some other analysts about how the naira seems to be, just coming to a stable point. But then yesterday, with us, the naira also gaining, that was more good news. Or what did you see when that happened?
Yeah, Lizzie, I think naira gained at the parallel market.
Okay.
Gained about 15 naira, so I had, so to say. The issue of foreign exchange has been on two major planks. What are those planks? One is demand and supply, which is the core. Then the second one is sentiment. So the naira gaining yesterday, I will link it to the second aspect, which is sentiment.
Okay.
That Trump came in and naira gained. Why did he gain? I'm not an economist, but I think that a lot of people have misgivings and their own perceptions about Trump. okay, has said he's going to do this, he's going to do that, but more on deportation of non-regularized Americans. So some people are saying it that if Trump does this, okay, a lot of things are going to happen. For instance, remittances are going to reduce. You know, more Nigerians too, including other Africans, will be deported back to their country. So maybe the economy and the system are reacting to these sentiments.
That's actually possible. But what do you see? I mean, I understand that you said you're not an economist, but this is a question I ask people on the show. With the Trump administration that has come to stay, what do you think will be the economic outlook for Nigeria with the Trump administration?
Trump is a lot of people have their different views about Trump economy, but his main policies are tariff, you know, and that's more about the West, not Africa, because his relationship with Africa is a little bit more of economic resources. But Trump has this interest to develop American economy, and he's going to focus more on tariffs. How the tariff is going to affect Nigeria and Africa, I don't really know. But Nigeria deals more with the West and the other Asian countries, and whatever affects them will equally trickle down to Nigeria and Africa. So we just watch and see how this will play out.
Yes, absolutely. We have to watch and see how, and we hope that it will have positive implications for Nigeria, because there have been conversations about, you know, Trump being very pro fencing, you know, you know, all of this migration thing might sort of be
might be
a little bit of problem in that area, because there are many Nigerians that try to leave the shores of the country, migrate out of the country. So yeah, there's that.
Yes, on that aspect, like we said earlier, you know, if he goes ahead to implement the deportation policy, definitely there are many Nigerians which we know in America who don't really have documentation as such, and we know how much those Nigerians remit back home, you know, for their siblings, for their families, to keep life going. And if it does that, more Nigerians will be deported. And if that happens, like I said, then remittances will go down. You know, and will affect many families. Today, you said earlier, Nigerians are impoverished, Nigerians are hungry, and when they don't get those dollars from abroad to feed them, there'll be more people on the street begging for food. So these are the issues, you know, that will play out in Nigeria, that government equally needs to find a way to say, okay, those coming that are going to deport, how are we going to handle them? How are we going to give them soft landing when they come back to Nigeria? So these are the policies government needs to watch and begin to be proactive on that aspect.
And I also read yesterday that he has put a stop to birth by citizenship by birth.
Okay.
I read that yesterday, that the Donald Trump, during his speech, had mentioned that he has put a stop to citizenship by birth. And to me, it's like many people, I don't know I don't know, maybe I didn't really get the full context of that, because I didn't watch that part of the speech. I just read it somewhere. So I probably need to go and do like deeper research to really understand that, because when I was reading and then I saw in the comment section, then people were making clarifications and saying that, what does this mean? Does this mean that people that go abroad to have their children, does that mean that they're not going to be citizens? Because, you know, that's always the idea behind going there to have your kids, so at least they can get that dual citizenship.
No, but listen, one thing with Trump is that Trump, I like him. Some people don't, but I do like him. You know, he says things the way it is. You know, look at what he called Africa, and the Africans, are you really what he called you? And if you're not, then do changes. You know, corruption everywhere. Not that it's corruption, it's not the West, but the massive corruption in Africa. A lot of the economy is not moving. We are still, for many years, we are still dependent on resources without translating the resources, transforming the resources to actual needs. So the issue is, Trump wants to, his policy is make America great again.
Yes, and also the make America safe again. So
Simple.
there's also
So,
that.
so wherever you go, take it. Whatever policy is introducing, whatever he's doing is to make America great again. You know, he may say the white supremacy. He may say but Trump is an American. He believes in America, and so also we should believe in our own country. Africans should believe in their own countries, you know, and make their own country great again.
Great again.
You know,
Absolutely.
somebody asked me earlier, why is it that, okay, citizens by birth, why must you go to America to go and give birth because you want your child to be American? Why can't you be in Nigeria and give your birth and believe, I'm a Nigerian, my child must be a Nigerian? So these are things, the sentimental issues that make us believe in America, UK. Believe in your own country and make your country great again.
Absolutely. That's a good way for us to, you know, bring it to a close on that particular topic. We need to believe in our country and make our country great again. Now, this one is not so much of a good news. It's the World Bank banning these two companies. I don't know if you've been following up on it. Banning two Nigerian companies for Viva Atlantic Limited and Technology House Limited, and then another you know, including the managing director and the CEO, Norman Didam, for engaging in fraudulent, collusive, and corrupt practices linked to the National Social Safety Net project in Nigeria for 30 months. So there've been conversations about conflict of interest, and then these companies, they had to ban them for a while. And I think that this are some of the problems we have. This kind of companies that are presenting Nigeria in a negative light, because on a global stage like that, when we have conversations like this, for a country like Nigeria, where already there are some people, you know, they're looking at us with one eyes, like these people, and they are very corrupt. Then when you have companies that should at least be able to make sure, tighten whatever it is that they do and avoid corruption. But when you have things like that, and you have the World Bank, you know, banning them for months for cases of corruption, I don't know if you've been following up on it. Then it's an issue.
I think, Lizzie, the issue came up yesterday and it was widely reported in the media. I think I heard about it at night. You know, but my curiosity here is why these are Nigerian companies, isn't it?
Yes.
So why did it take the World Bank, the first instance, to come hard on these companies? Why is it that it was World Bank that banned them? What does that tell about our system? That is on the second aspect. What does it tell on our system? You know, the issue is that, okay, World Bank has banned them for corruption. That's another thing. Then, does that underscore corruption in the system? Of course, yes. You know, I don't know what, but I learned they falsified some documents. Whether they were dealing directly with World Bank for them to do this, I don't know. But Nigerian government, to me, Nigerian government should step further into this issue. World Bank has come to ban them, okay, painting us, like you said, in that light, because it's all over the world that World Bank has done this against two Nigerian companies. You know, but Nigerian government should step in and find out what actually these companies did. And found guilty, I think Nigeria should equally prosecute them further in order to say, come on, we don't like this, we don't tolerate this. Because what this underscores is corruption in the system. You know, that corruption is high, you know, monumentous corruption, which everybody believes that in government, in society, private sector, corruption. So government should, to me, come more harder on this company to say, we don't like this and it's not part of our system.
They absolutely need to do that, because when it seems like when we're speaking of corruption, it seems like a termite that's gone deep when it comes to, like, in the fabric of
the society,
our society. So, and it's something that's really sad, and I hope that corruption can be I don't think that it can be something that we'll say bye to, or it's something that we can say, oh, we've seen the worst of. But I do hope that it gets better. Like the conversations around corruption, you know, even yesterday we were talking about how EFCC goes to raid homes at night and all of that, going to they are going about, curbing corruption, but again, they're going about it in the wrong way. So, because there have been conversations about why do they have to go at night? Where is your warrant? Why are you going at night when people are sleeping? So it's also in the fact that in our society, in trying to curb corruption, it's also going about it the wrong way. So I don't even know if you can completely say corruption is a thing that, say in Nigeria, you can say it's now a 40%. It's something that we're seeing just 40%, a 40% ratio.
No, listen, there's no system without
Corruption.
Without some form of corruption. There's no system. What systems do is to minimize it to the barest minimum. Corruption. There's no system without corruption. But when you have monumental corruption in billions in that form, and there are no prosecutions, it begins to cast doubt on that system. We want to see government officials, we want to see private officials, being prosecuted and concluded in a short time. Because what we see is that somebody being prosecuted of corruption, it takes long years, and at the end, Nigerians tend to forget, and it fizzles out. But we want to see where those alleged corruption activities are really prosecuted, and if found guilty, jailed. Within a short period, the case is concluded. But we find out that many cases today, some bank executives since early 2009 are still being prosecuted on corruption till today.
But there seems to be some loopholes, because just yesterday we saw and we read that Diezani Madueke, because you were speaking about we see that it takes a long time and then all of that. But now in her case, she's been nearly a decade of this corruption charges and all of that. But yesterday, was it our lawyer? He comes out and says that there is no, like all of the allegations that have been made against her about the UK, some money in the UK and all of that, that it's not traceable. That there are no traces of it. They can't. There's nothing that. So it's just the charges that that have been, made against her for nearly a decade. That everything is fictitious. And I'm wondering, this is nearly a decade. Is it what really is going on? Because now you're talking about how these things take a while, but now this one has taken a while, and now this person is really making claims that there is nothing to hold on to.
Like I said, Nigerians, we forget a lot, and we forget history a lot. I read a book, let me give you a scenario, where tortoise, was found guilty of sacrilege, and the penalty is to flog tortoise from morning till dawn. So women were going to the market, and they saw tortoise being flogged. They said, flog him. So when they were coming back from the market, that could be afternoon, they see tortoise being flogged. They say, Abba, what are you still flogging this man? What did you do? Nigerians, sometimes you are prosecuting somebody of corruption or this activity. You say, Abba, is the only one. And that is why, like I said, flog somebody when the issue is hot and get it concluded at that point in time.
That's
okay,
important.
Instead of prolonging issues for unnecessarily. So if look at the Diezani issue. When was it charged of corruption? That's about more than a decade now.
Nearly a decade. Yeah.
More than a decade.
It's more than.
Yeah, more than a decade. Okay, that's more than a decade. Okay, so now people will be asking, come on, what is that? So get that done and conclude the issue. So Nigerians, we need to tackle corruption. Corruption is endemic in Nigeria. We know that. In every facet of the society, corruption is endemic. But we need to begin to check it and bring it to the barest minimum and allow the society run. And that is why we like the cash system. Cash system CBN government is introducing. It will, to some extent, check armed robbery, some extent, check corruption. Because if I have to transfer money, which sum of money to this guy or that guy, of course it's traceable. Of course it's traceable. But with cash, sometimes it's not traceable. So these are the systems and policies that will check corruption in the system.
Thank you for that. And speaking of corruption, so political activist Omoyele Sowore says that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, that's IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is being held by feudal characters. Now we know that Nnamdi Kanu has been held for quite a while now. So now there have been conversations about his release, that he's been held in, of course, he's currently facing trial for terrorism and treasonable felony. But there are growing calls for his release. Many would say that his release will go a long way in restoring the insecurity that the Southeast is currently facing. But do you agree with this?
Some extent, I agree. Sowore, political activist, has made his views that Nnamdi Kanu is being held by feudal characters. And to me, who are these feudal characters? To me, they are here and there, across the country, who don't want Kanu released. What their fears are, I don't know, of release or no release of Kanu. But you can see that Kanu has been held since 2001, when he was deported from Kenya. Okay, since then he's going under trial. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier. Listen, if he's charged of felony, treason, felony, and treason, then charge him to court, conclude the case. If he's found guilty, imprison him. If he's not, release him. But you find out that Kalu's issue has become more of a political thing, and everybody understand that. Okay, there are some other people who are in the mode of Kanu, who have equally made such statements he's making, protecting their people, and say, people are asking, why is this one released? Why is this one not held? Why is Kalu being held for such a long time? So release him. Even Sunday Igboho, has come to ask federal government, plead with federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu. So, and again, the detention of Nnamdi Kanu, Lizzie, you agree that it's really causing some tension in Southeast, like you said. It's causing some tension in Southeast. Today, Monday, there's no business on Mondays in Southeast. And you can see the economic loss.
Of course,
of that day. And they are saying, and even the agitators of Biafra are saying, if you release Kanu, there will be peace in that land. And Kanu has even said, agreed, I even subscribe to that his release will go to much extent to ensure peace in that region. So I believe that government, on their wisdom, should hearken to the voice of these people, including Sunday Igboho, including others, including Sowore, including other stakeholders who are calling for release of Nnamdi Kanu, to see how, to what extent. Maybe get a bond, get others to have sureties for him.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Obi, for sharing your thoughts with us here on the BDTV Breakfast Show on our top story analysis. I know you'll be back soon for the newspaper review, but thank you so much for your time this morning.
Lisa, thank you very much.
And that was the top story analysis today on the BDTV Breakfast Show. We'll be back shortly for the newspaper review. Do stay with us.